time once again to do some retro CSS battles. These are CSS battles from the past. In this case, we're looking at May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of 2024. Some interesting shapes in here. Let's get right to it. Okay, what is this guy? Definitely feeling like this is all on the body. And what does that look like? I kind of think it's multiple gradients. Let's do one circle. How little code can we do to do one of these circles, and then can we have them repeat? So let's see, radial gradient, and it's going to be this orange color, and maybe it's 15 pixels, and then transparent. So we need the keyword circle because that is an oval. All right, so it's probably bigger, right? 20. And then it's probably in a different location. So moving it to 2020 gets it. So then if we have a width to it, five, 6, 7, 6. And what I'm looking for is a consistent, there it is. So that is certainly a way to do it. So that makes me want to go do this. Have this be a variable, and this is the circle. So dash C is this. So if I do var C, I get that. And then let's do another one. Var C, and we don't need a trailing comma. And then let's move that. What happens if we just do that? So that second one that's at 0. So what if we do minus 10 pixels? Maybe 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 60 pixels, and then vertically we want minus 20 pixels, maybe? Yeah. That's pretty good. Then what? For me, it's very difficult not to do linear conic. Gradient, which is going to be yellow to orange. And that's 75% of the yellow. No, it's 25%, of course. It's 25, and with an at value at. If this was, it's probably 40 pixels, 100 pixels or something. 1, 10, 20, 30. And then it's at 0, 0, and then it's got a width of 100% and a height of a little more than 50%. So let's try 60% and see if that's good. 63. How about 51? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a solution. If we repeat it, actually, you know what? That's too much. That's too much. How about instead of that, we do a linear gradient as a variable? So what's that look like? That'll be, so the L, we'll do L for linear gradient. 90 degrees, orange, 0, 40 pixels, and then yellow. And then we'll put that in place. Let's see what that does. Var dash dash L. So that's that. So we can make that work and I guess what we need to do, we also need to have this be instead of yellow, it's transparent. No, here. Okay, here's what we want. We want, kind of thinking through. Okay, so here's what I've done. I made that. So let's do that. This is not too bad. I think. Now, if we make this transparent, then we can reuse it, I think. So let's do this. This needs to be taller. 120, 130. Okay, and then if we do another one, and then we move it on the horizontal axis. Oh, and it's down. It's at 200 pixels. 1.8, 1.7. Okay, that's what we got now. So let's move that along. 2. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 300, 340, 50, 60. That seems wrong. So that means that if the width is 130 and we've done an offset of 360, then we could subtract that 130 from it and get 230 or minus 230. That's not right at all. That's not doing. How does that work again? Is that the right number? And then if we put orange in the background, then that solves it. I think we're done here. I'm overthinking the background positions a little bit. There are other options because they will loop around. But that's fine. I'm going to minify and replace, and we're done with this guy. He's a fun, weird solution. I think there's so many different ways to do this one. It would make my head spin to think of all of them, but that's a fun one. All right, next. That sort of weird pear shape here going on. So that's interesting. And obviously maybe it's not obvious. I think the obvious thing here, the angular part, is the interesting part. Right, so let's do that first. So we're going to do, my friend, the conic gradient. And it gets from 135 degrees, right? So down from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then down to halfway between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. It's 135 degrees. And then it's this bright color, 25%, and then transparent. That's how you get that angle. Is that what we want? I don't know, maybe. Let's put color in the background and see if we're in the ballpark. Ooh, that angle is not the same. That is not the same angle at all, and it's too wide. So, what do we need to do to make that work? That's your question. And is this a good approach? Probably not a good approach, but I'm kind of going with it. 6, 7, 8, 9. Right now what I'm doing is making that as parallel as I can. And then we're going to adjust this 4, 3, 2. And then if we move this more negative, do we get it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. That looks pretty good, but this has to go 80 degrees. Hey. So the angles are right. I think the size is wrong. So we want to make this, how big do we need it to be right on? 3, 4. All right, and then seven, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. And hilariously, that sort of points up, right? And then it's, so let's do a repeat Y, or X rather, so we don't get any of the extras. Okay, so let's just do the we'll do the, okay, we're gonna remove this clump. Now let's do the circle. Well, we'll do the bottom circle. Is that what we'll do? Yeah. Gradient, circle, and then transparent. Let's see if we can make that work. And the circle, so we want the bottom part of the circle. That's what we're working on right now. The bottom part of the circle is at 50% 0. And then we move it downward like that with the background position. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then let's put the background color and see how wrong we are. Oh, that's not too bad. How about 55? 55 looks good. All right, then we have this last part, which means that we need, it needs to be on top of everything else, because we need to cover what we've already done, this crazy conic gradient. Okay, so let's do radial gradient at 50%, 100%. Yes. That color, and then that color, and you do need to repeat X and a comma. So now we've created this weird gradient. This has got like a 40 pixel radius and 0, and it's not a circle, and it's at 0, 0, and it is 100% wide, and it's 50 pixels tall. So now if I make this taller, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100, and then make that bigger, 50. Ooh, kind of interesting. How about 99, 98, 97, 96, 95. 95 is an even number. So that's what that one is. Is this a weird solution? Yeah, but it's very much of a piece with sort of the CSS illustration work that I've done, which is you're going to have some weird things, and I'll change these colors so you can see exactly what they are. So that's, well, you can kind of see what that is. So that's what we've created, because we do a repeat X. If we do a repeat Y, it looks like that. But we just needed to repeat on the X-axis, which is really just, hey, don't cover everything. So I'm going to undo, get back to our colors, and we don't even know whether this is 100% match. It looks like it, but circular things, and so that is 100% match. Circular things and things with angles can trick you. So minify, unit replace, submit, all done. Very fun. that guy. All right. What do we got next? Oh, definitely kind of a fun one there. So what is this? Definitely feeling like we got to do one of the ends of that hammer and see how far we get. So let's put the background here and set a margin, and we're just going to do one of them. So we're going to need the margins to be different. So there's 20, 60, 0, 0. And so this is that element. We're going to force it to be, well, it's 100 pixels tall now. It looks like it needs to be taller. Let's make it 120. But using margins, we're going to force this down. So the top margin through pushes it 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 65, 65, and then this left margin 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 101, 102, and then this one is going to be 200, 220, 30, 40, 42. Okay, now a border radius to get those the little curvy edge. 5 pixels or something, maybe 10. Let's do Q. Yeah, it looks fine. All right, so that's the first thing. We could make another one. And then use margins to put that in place, or we could do a box shadow. Pixels 0, and then the color. So let's make that move a little more over. 2, 3, 4. There it is. So that's how you get that. So right now we have a paragraph, which is this guy. Hello, world. Yeah. So he's got some text in him, but he's very narrow. All right. Okay. So how do we do the rest of this shape? What's the best way to do the rest of this shape, I guess, is the question. It is, we can't use box shadows because it's smaller, right? Like we would have to assemble it and do a whole lot of different stuff. So I think it really goes on the all right, how do we do it? Let's do this. Okay. Let's do the stick part first, right? Let's think of this as a gavel, and so the handle, linear gradient, which is going to be transparent to brown and coming in from 90 degrees, and then have a width of like 210 pixels or something, right? 0 to 210 pixels. So I want that edge to be right with it. 210. All right, and then 80% 0. So right now we got that. Can we really do that? Maybe we can't. How about 90? That looks pretty good. Let's put, not quite. Let's just go with pixels. It's fine. 190 pixels. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So then what do we do? We got to cover up the top part, and we have to put the this body part. So to me, I think we're looking at conic gradient land, and it has to be on top of that, right? So conic conic gradient from 90 degrees around. %25 of the brown, and then the red, and then we make sure we have it. So that's what we just made, and we need to constrain it to the top corner, and then no repeat. And I guess we need a width and a height. So let's make we're going to adjust these numbers so it's wider. 2, 3, 2. Let's do that at a percent, maybe. Yeah, we'll do that as a percent. 50%. 60, 70. And let's make the height. We'll be precise with that. So 19, 18, 17, 16. And that probably gets it done. And then if we add that at the end, then we're good. Actually, we can do that in the linear gradient. And that's a solve for that one. So we've got a paragraph tag that's been constrained and is a rounded rectangle, and then it's got a shadow, and then we have a conic gradient to do the body of the gavel, and then a linear gradient from the side to do the handle. Kind of a weird one, but you know, that's justifiable. Unit replace, resubmit, and that is a solution for the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and yeah, that also matched. And it's a better score than I've gotten in the past, which I always like. All right, these were fun. These were fun from May of 2024. May 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Three very different items, but all done with. No, 2 were done with just gradients on the body, and then this one I'm using it. This one I'm using an element. So that's a fun one. Hope you enjoyed this. Go make a web page and have a great day. Bye bye.